Hey guys, welcome back. We are back at it with another dessert table. Today's theme is farm animals. And this theme is so easy, but it's so cute. So I'm so excited to show you guys the final product. So let's get right into it. First thing I am doing is prepping my treats. I am starting off with my apples. I am using these appetizer skewers that I bought from Hobby Lobby. They have a little rustic look to them, so I feel like it's going to tie in together nicely with the final product. Next up, we are going to be using the same skewers for our Rice Krispie treats, and we are going to use our chocolate as glue to make sure our skewers are nice and secure. And here are our apples already dipped in caramel. I thought I had recorded this process, but I guess I didn't. But it's okay because I have a lot of other videos showing this process. Next up are our cake pop balls. We're going to be portioning them out using a scale. I like to make sure all of my balls are 32 grams. That way they are all the same size and they all look the same. Using my hands to mold each ball. It doesn't have to be a perfectly round circle, but just try your best at making it as round as possible. Now we are going to insert these same skewers into these cake pop balls. And once they are all inserted, I am going to place them in the fridge for at least 5 minutes. I don't recall if I told you guys where I bought these little skewers at. I got these at Hobby Lobby. Michaels used to sell them, and I believe the little ball was a little bit bigger. But you can always find them at Hobby Lobby. However, if you find them at Michaels, snag them because I think they are a little bit cuter. Next up are our Madeleines, and we are just going to be dipping them in white chocolate. Once they are dipped, we are going to immediately cover them in shredded wheat cereal. And this is what it looks like. You're going to break it up with your fingers. And this gives like a illusion of hay. And that's what we want for our farm animal theme. So once we dip our Madeleines and the chocolate is still wet, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle on some shredded wheat over the Madeleines. For our next set of Madeleines, we are going to be using white nonpareils, and we're just going to dip it into our white chocolate and sprinkle over the Madeleine some white nonpareils. But you want to make sure that you leave a little spot in the center with no sprinkles. That way you can add on a fondant piece. For our pretzels, we are going to be dipping them in our white chocolate. And before you start to dip, you have to make sure that your container, your cup, or whatever you're using is up to the brim filled with chocolate. That way you have no issues at the time of dipping. And I do recommend you guys use a container that is tall just because it's a lot easier to dip that way. It also covers the pretzel completely, giving you full coverage. That way you don't have to go back and cover any spots that were not dipped completely in chocolate. And we're going to be doing the same thing with our shredded wheats. We are going to sprinkle them onto our pretzels to give it the effect of hay. Now for our Rice Krispie treats, we are just going to be dipping them into our white chocolate. And I love this theme because it is so simple. You don't really have to be coloring a whole bunch of chocolates, dealing with so many different colors. You can just use white as your base and then add on your little fondant pieces and your look is complete. Super easy, simple, cost effective. Since you don't really need that much material to get this theme done, and also a plus when it comes to working on themes like these that are really simple to do, is that it took me, I want to say, less than an hour to do all of this, which is amazing because normally any other theme could take me up to 3 to 4 hours to do. So for our Rice Krispie treats, I am going to be using them as little hay barrels. And some of them I am going to just sprinkle the shredded wheat onto the front of the Rice Krispie treat. And then others, I am going to cover them completely with the shredded wheat. That way, when I lie my Rice Krispie treats on the side, they are completely covered in hay. And then some are going to be standing up, so all I need to cover is the front of those. Now for our cake pops, we are going to be dipping them in white chocolate just like we did the other treats. I am going to be doing 2 cake pops with nonpareil sprinkles because they are going to be the body of our little sheeps. And then I am thinking I am going to do 2 cake pops to be a very light pink so that they can be the body of our little piggy. Now this step is optional. You don't really have to do this step. It doesn't make that big of a difference. And the baby pink by Color Mill is so light. You really have to build up the color if you want very nice coverage. But I left it very light, so you can't really tell the difference unless you're looking closely. And again, we are just going to cover 2 cake pops in this light pink. So here we can see that the color is super light. It's a very light pink, but I feel like it makes the piggy stand out a little bit more and it makes it look a little bit cuter. And I'm going to do the same thing to 2 of the Madelines, just covering it in the light pink chocolate. And lastly, we are going to cover our apples in chocolate, and all of our apples are going to be coated in the white chocolate. And here are all our farm animals that I made using fondant. You guys, look how cute these little animals look. I am so happy with the results. The molds work so well, you guys. I love all the little details that all the animals have. They're so cute. And this theme is so adorable. Highly recommend for your little boys. or girls. This theme would look so cute for a girl as well. Using poppy paint, I am going to go ahead and color in all of the little farm animals' eyes, just so that our little fondant pieces can pop a little bit more. And I am just using a toothpick. I'm going to grab a little bit of my poppy paint and fill in their little eyes. Now, poppy paint dries in seconds, so you don't have to worry about the paint smearing. Look how cute that looks. However, you can use food coloring. You can use Color Mills food coloring. It has to be gel or oil-based food coloring to color in your little fondant pieces, but there is a downfall with that. The food coloring is never going to dry, so you do have to worry about smearing. So once you color a fondant piece, you have to be very careful that you don't touch it to prevent smearing. Now, I know the poppy paint is a little pricey. It runs for like $9. And on top of that, you have to add on shipping. I know Amazon does not ship it free with Amazon Prime. So it ends up being like around $13 with shipping included to ship here in the US. However, I do recommend to invest in poppy paint if you are selling treats to a client, because clients tend to touch their treats and stuff, and you don't want their treats to end up all smeared. And also because when it dries like a glossy finish. It does not dry matte, and it looks super pretty on top of the obvious that you don't have to worry about smearing, which is a big plus. Using my poppy paint, I am just going to make some random little spots around the cow so that I can have spots and look more like a cow. Now this mold has already the spots where you can color in, and you can use those spots or you can make your own. But that's the good thing about this mold, is that our little cows already come with little spots. All you have to do is color it in. I don't really recommend that many products to you guys. The products that I do recommend to you is because I really do love them. I really do use them on a daily pace when I'm working with my treats. And I know for sure that that's a good product to invest your money in. So poppy paint is definitely one to invest in for all our treat makers who are doing this as a business. Here is a little close-up of our little cow. Look how adorable it looks. So now we are going to repeat the same process to these little cow heads. This process can be very time-consuming and even tedious at times, but I do believe that it gives so much more detail to your treats. It makes them stand out so much more. And I feel like customers really like to receive custom personalized treats that match their theme. So this definitely does give it that extra touch. All the little details that we're adding to these fondant pieces definitely give it a more personalized, custom feel to them that I believe our customers are definitely gonna appreciate. So I do recommend that you guys take the extra time out to personalize, add details, paint any fondant pieces, or do whatever you need to do to give that nice personalized feel to each and every one of your treats. To make the eyes stand out a little bit more, I am going to be using my Color Mail in white. I had run out of my poppy paint white, so I thought this is a great time to show you guys how well the Color Mail colors work to paint your fondant pieces. So here you can tell that the color is going on very nicely, very pigmented. As long as you don't touch them, they are not going to smear. However, keep in mind that this food coloring is never going to dry. No matter how many hours you let it sit to dry, it will never dry. So just keep that in mind so that you don't forget and touch it and then it smears all over the place. However, this food coloring works awesome if you have no other option but to use this. It is gonna work very nicely. Now that all our fondant pieces have all their little details added to them, it is time to see the final result. Look how beautiful these little fondant pieces turned out. The black poppy paint dried very nicely. You can tell that it has a very glossy finish to them. Here are the molds that I used to make these fondant pieces. These I bought from Amazon. I also bought this one from Amazon. However, that one is not necessary if you have this mold right here because it is the exact same heads on each animal. All you have to do is fill in just the head and you will get the same results. So if you don't want to buy both of the molds, just buy the first one. And now it is time to decorate all of our desserts and add on these fondant pieces. For our apples, we are going to keep it very simple, very basic. We're just going to drizzle some chocolate over them and add on our little farm animals. Don't forget to hold on to them because if you let go of them, they are going to slide off of your apple and smear your apple. Hold on to them for like a minute until that you know that your chocolate has hardened and your fondant pieces are nicely secured. I'm going to repeat the same process to all of our apples. Now moving on to our cake pops, we are just going to be adding our little farm animal heads to our cake pops. And I am going to be adding the little pig head to the cake pop that we covered in light pink. Now for our sheeps, we are going to be adding the little sheep head to the cake pop that we covered in nonpareils. And it looks so cute. I think the little sheeps were my favorite. And now that I'm editing this video, an idea pops in my brain. Now that it's too late, I should have added some luster dust to their little cheeks so that they can have some pink flesh cheeks. I think it would have looked super cute. But every time I edit my videos, I always get these new ideas and I'm like, thanks brain, a little too late, but thanks. And to our last two remaining cake pops, we are going to add on our little cow heads. And we will come back to them in just a second. Now for our Rice Krispie treats, we are just going to be adding our little fondant pieces to them. And to these 3 Rice Krispie treats, I am just going to be adding our little animals to them just like I did our apples. Now for our Rice Krispie treats that are going to go lying down, we are going to add our little fondant pieces differently. But first we have to remove our skewer. And we're just going to pull on it and remove it. It should leave a very small hole We're just going to add a little bit of chocolate and then go ahead and add your shredded wheat. And you should not be able to tell the little hole that we have covered. And we are going to add our fondant pieces standing up. And to add these fondant pieces, you need to add the chocolate to the bottom of the fondant piece and then add the chocolate to the back of the fondant piece for extra support. And that's it. Now we're just going to let them sit and dry and repeat the same process to the remaining 2 Rice Krispie treats. Now for our Madeleines, we're going to decorate them the same exact way that we decorated the cake pops. And for the little cow, we're going to come back to it in just a second. And now that all our treats are ready, it is time to come back to our little cows. We are going to use our poppy paint to draw on some little spots to the body of our cows just to give it that extra little pop of detail. For the spots, they don't have to be perfect. You can just go with the flow, draw on whatever you feel like looks like a little cow spot. Their spots aren't perfect anyway, so just freehand it. Don't worry about it. I promise you it'll look good at the end. And last but not least, we are going to complete our look with these little ribbons that I bought from Michael's. And we're going to add them on using these glue points that I bought from Amazon. So here is our finished product. Look how adorable this theme is. You guys, I am obsessed. And to be honest, I can't even tell which one I like more, if I like the sheep or the cow, because they are both so stinking cute. I can't with this beautiful theme. It's perfect for your child's birthday party. I am so in love with how everything came out. And the little Rice Krispie treats, I feel like they really do give the illusion of hay barrels. I love how everything came out, but like always, share with me your thoughts, comments, and suggestions. I love to read every single one of your comments. And I hope you guys enjoy this theme. You guys, this theme is so easy to make. No joke. I think it took me an hour or less. The most tedious and time-consuming part was doing all the little coloring in all the little fondant pieces. But yeah, this is so easy to do. It requires very little product, but it is so cute. So I hope you guys feel inspired to try this theme out, and may God's peace be with you all. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.